It's a Waiver Wire Wednesday, and today we're going deep on the waiver wire again to give you that confirmation bias you need on your pickups. If your waiver wire runs tonight, we're going down the list player by player to help you out. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at the waiver wire every day. We're doing deep dives on all the trending players so you know more about them. We're doing player rankings, and we're looking at all the matchups to help you set your lineups. We're here. We're free. We're not going to leave you. Click that button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. He's the man. But the first player we're looking at today, Jaxson Darts. And the reason why I got to start off with him, because people are going to start asking questions about him. And I think right now he's more for deeper leagues, unless you're trying to moneyball it, unless you're playing matchups, unless you're trying to get a little frisky with your matchups. But Jaxson Dart for fantasy football might be an answer for you if you're looking for a garbage time quarterback that money balls it late in games. He'll get you some rushing production. That's something to look at. He's not going to get you there pretty. He's going to get you there ugly. He's got some rough matchups coming up. That's something to pay attention to. You got Philly, you got Denver on the road, you got the Chargers this week, but we're expecting him to be in game scripts where he's trailing, slinging the rock. He pushes it deep downfield. Led all quarterbacks in college football last year in deep ball attempts, 20-plus yards downfield. We're going to see that again. He's got Malik Neighbors. He's got some weapons there. Jaxson Dart, probably going to be an ugly play this season that gets you there in fantasy football, but you're not going to trust it every week. Trey Benson is the guy everybody's looking at. He's not even a question. I got him ranked in the top 20 in my rankings for this week. You need to get him. You need to blow the fab. There'll be other running backs, too, that get anointed due to injury this year. That's just how the running back position works. It was lighter last year and the year before that. We're starting to get back to average when it comes to the injuries. Trey Benson, 4.3 speeds. He's going to be getting the touches. He's going to be getting the opportunity. He's the top waiver wire pickup of the week. Hunter Henry's getting the targets. 8 targets in week 1, just 3 in week 2, 11 in week 3. He's the tight end. Tight ends are going to be volatile, but you also want to look at the workload. The workload was there last year. He was a trendy pickup last year, and now we got some matchups here where you got Carolina, you got Buffalo on the road, you got the Saints, so we got some trendy matchups here where there could be some back and forth. He's a tight end that needs to be put in lineups, not just picked up off waivers. He should be rostered in almost every league right now. But he's getting volume, he's getting opportunities, and he's a guy that trends out to at least be a volatile fantasy football play going forward. Luther Burden is a high-end lottery ticket wide receiver. He's not a guy you're picking up to start right now. He's a guy that should have been a first-rounder. He's a big-time rookie talent right now that could emerge later in the season. Do we know when? We do not know. But right now we're in that ramp-up time. A lot of people are talking him up. But we're talking him up as a lottery ticket play on your bench, kind of like a handcuff running back. And he could emerge later, he could not. If you can hold him for multiple weeks, he's a good pickup for you to see what happens. If you can't, if you're looking for someone to put in lineups right now, or if you're looking for somebody to compete to be in lineups right now, he's not for you. But Geno Smith's got some matchups coming up that you might be interested in. We got the Bears in week 4. We got the Colts in week 5. I'd probably cool it off against the Titans and Chiefs, but after that, going forward, you can play the matchups with him. He's getting garbage time. He's getting opportunities. He's pushing the ball downfield. Week 2 was a little bit rough, but last week against the Commanders, he was all right with 3 touchdowns, and he's on a lot of waiver wires right now. Brenton Strange is running a lot of routes. He's getting a lot of opportunities. There's not many good tight ends right now that we're looking at off the waiver wire right now, unless they got dropped and they're just sitting there. But usually you're looking at like a Brenton Strange or even less right now. 7 targets last week, 5 the week prior, 12 points last week against Houston. We do have some rough matchups coming up. But if you're looking for workload at the tight end position, Strange is a guy to look at. Woody Marks is one of the top handcuff lottery ticket running backs right now, because he's getting the work. He might usurp Chubb sooner than later. If Chubb goes down, he's next in line. He's a good talent. He has a good receiving profile coming out of college. This is a running back prospect that can be good at all phases. He's earning opportunity. He's earning trust as he's getting workload right now. He had a 48% snap share versus 27 in week 2 and 11% in week 1. So that's increasing. Everything's increasing for Woody Marks. So you may want to get in on Woody Marks early before it's too late. Sterling Shepard's going to be seeing extra work with Mike Evans out. Mecca Buka was banged up last week, but he came back. But he's still been running a lot of routes, getting a lot of opportunity. He ran 27 routes last week, 40 the week prior. He's going to be out there, and with Mike Evans out, he could be seeing some extra targets. Look at the waiver wire, see if Chris Godwin's there. He should be rostered, but if he's not, and if he's sitting there on waivers, you better just pick him up right now. He'll be back sooner than expected, and then Mike Evans is going to be out, so Chris Godwin could be just walking into targets immediately. Carson Wentz is in a great situation for him. You got Justin Jefferson, you got Hawk, Mason's been looking good, Jordan Aston coming back, Adam Thielen's third in line, and you got Carson Wentz here commanding the ship. Not the greatest matchups, but if you're hurting at quarterback, this is a quarterback that's on a team that likes to be top 5 in pace of play. If you take the average over the last 5 to 10 years, they're up there, and you're thinking about the Vikings and what they already have around him and what he did against the Bengals, even though that game script was busted. He's in position to at least get you to the fairway every week with what's around him. Chig Okonkwo is running a lot of routes, getting a lot of opportunity. He has 16 targets in 3 games, which is good for the tight end position, especially a tight end off the waiver wire. He's due to hit a touchdown. This is going to be a volatile offense. Tight ends are volatile anyways, especially the tight ends you're looking at off the waiver wire. But if you're looking for work, he's getting that. Blake Corum's one of the top handcuffs in the National Football League. If something happens to Kyren Williams, he's up there. He's up there. Look at what happened with Trey Benson. Same thing with Blake Corum. Everybody's going to be throwing fab at him. So I suggest you get one of these stash running backs now just in case with that last spot on your bench and just hoard them and maybe flip and flop them if you want throughout the year. But Kyren Williams, good last week. But it's not about him looking good or looking bad. It's if he goes down. He's always been getting a lot of touches and a lot of workload, and he's a running back, and injuries happens to running backs, especially at an increased rate with the hits they take. And Blake Corum, 6.6 yards per carry last week, 8.8 the week prior, and then you go check that with the tape. It's been checking out. Blake Corum looks like he could be in for a monster year if something happens to Kyren Williams. Elic Ayomanor should have been picked up week 1 when we called that out. But he's running a lot of routes. He's getting a lot of opportunity. He had 5 targets last week, 6 the week before, 7 the week before that. Scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. 34 routes ran last week. His average depth of target right now in the season's at 13.7. He's getting the volume. He's getting the workload. If he's there, he's a pickup. But I do expect him to be up and down throughout the season because I expect this offense to be up and down. Ollie Gordon, another stash running back. Like something happens to HN, same thing. He's going to get the Trey Benson experience. You got that feeling of the Trey Benson experience right now and how much fab that took to get him. Now, if you have one of these premium stashed running backs on your roster, just sitting there, and that lead running back goes down, you don't have to fight for him. You already got him. You don't even have to start him. Like, he could suck, but he's trade bait, and you could move him for something better. You could do that. Like, there's more options if that hits. Or he blows up. I think he's going to be good when he's on the field. He's going to get red zone looks. He's going to get opportunities. And the Dolphins might start kicking it into gear a little bit better in some of these matchups. You got Carolina coming up week 5 where he might get that red zone look and help you out. But if something happens to HN, you expect the Trey Benson experience, what you felt this week. Look at where Trey Benson went on fab. You're going to see a similar percentage as the bankrolls are going to decrease. It's going to be a percentage amount in your league when some of these other premium handcuff running backs get their opportunity. Trey Tucker, a lot of people's chasing him. He's getting the workload over the last 2 weeks. 44 routes ran in week 2, 37 week 1, 33 in week 3. I danced around there with the numbers, but you know that's a lot of routes, 114 on the season. I like that number. I like that he's getting targets downfield. I think in busted game scripts, he's going to be great for you. I think he's still going to be volatile. If he's going for a lot of fab, I just let him go. If you can catch him on the cheap, like 10% or less, which from what I'm seeing in the fantasy streets on Twitter and stuff, that ain't going to be happening, then yeah, I like him for that range, but I would not overload the fab on him Bhayshul Tuten should be rostered, but musical chairs are happening with the waiver wire league to league, so I'm throwing him out there. If something happens to Travis Etienne, you're going to want him. He's another premium lottery ticket running back, and the Trey Benson experience could happen if Travis Etienne ever goes down. Calvin Austin. Now, if Trey Tucker's too expensive for you and Calvin Austin's there, look at this workload. 37 routes ran in week 2, 30 week 1, 22 last week, and a slower game script. His ADOT's at 16.2. And then looking at the targets here, 6, 4, and 5. Slower game script, slower opportunity, but when things bust wide open, he's going to blow it up. He has 17 points in 1 week, 12 in week 3. Some rough matchups coming up. Minnesota, Browns, and a bye. Those are 3 rough matchups. The bye's the worst one for you in fantasy, although that could be hard to believe with the Browns in there. Calvin Austin is a deep threat who gets volume that you may want to think about here as a volatile throw-in play in your lineups when you pray to the fantasy gods that they catch that big ball. DJ Giddens is another top-tier lottery ticket running back prospect. If Jonathan Taylor goes down, you're going to get something similar to the Trey Benson experience. You're going to get a lot of ambiguous analysis around him because most of the fantasy football community, those bigger channels out there that's getting 100K views, they don't go deep enough into prospects to really talk about the player in the correct way to get you the information to feel good or bad about them. I'm going to say this. He has a good prospect profile out of Kansas State, a good athletic profile from the combine, and he's very explosive to where he could be a big home run hitter if Jonathan Taylor ever goes out. And I would say he's worth the Trey Benson experience, but the fab money would roll a little lighter on him due to the analysis that would not be rolled out by the fantasy football community. DJ Giddens is a guy to get. Tyquan, Thornton should have been rostered. We've been calling this out pretty much all season long prior to the season. Connecting with Patrick Mahomes in preseason, deep ball dandy. Look at the ADOTs, 27.3, 33.6, 19.7, 25.2 average for the season. Routes ran above 30 in every single game. Snap share, 72 or higher in every single game. Targets, volatile on the volume, but that's indicative to the ADOT, 4, 5, and 9 on the season. So this is a wide receiver that can break loose on any given Sunday. And I don't think it's matchup dependent. I just think it's just play script dependent where if we break free loose, we're getting that deep ball. If we connect, that's a big play. That could be a touchdown. It could be massive. I like Thornton. I like Thornton a lot, actually, because he's one of those players that I put in lineups, close my eyes, pray to the gods, and I know I got like 1 out of 3, a 50-50, something like that kind of shot that he hits big. And I understand, like, hey, if he misses, it's probably 6. If I hit big, it might be like 18 range or a big touchdown or something like that. Now, when I look at that and I see him score that 6, in my mind versus the average waiver wire wide receiver that I got to throw into that lineup, when they hit, it's kind of like 10, 11, 12. I'm not too far off from that, so I'd rather take that home run play. But you have to realize that it's a boom-bust scenario, and when you bust, you have to understand and think of that sort of math. Kendre Miller is an upside lottery ticket running back nobody is really talking about, but if Alvin Kamara goes down, he's the next man up. This guy has survived on this depth chart this whole time with the coaching staff hating him for being injured. They brought in other running backs. He kept them at bay. He's still getting touches. He's on a team with crazy-ass game scripts where there's good movement for fantasy production. If Kamara goes down, you might catch similar to the Trey Benson experience. Similar, a little bit less expensive, but still a guy that might even be more productive. Tory Horton is a deep ball dandy in this offense. He's the guy that's going to get to deep targets. You're seeing the workload ramp up a little bit. 4 targets in each of the last 2 games. 18 points last week. Back-to-back touchdowns. If we connect on that deep ball, we're going to be big. That's something you may want to pay attention to. If Cooper Kupp goes down, we're going to get more work, more routes, more opportunity. Tahj Brooks. We got to have a discussion about Chase Brown. How much longer is it going to look like this? Your traditional 12-team leagues, it's going to be hard to roster him, obviously, because some of the other running backs are going to be there, and they're already getting working touches. He was in a busted game script. He'll be in more busted game scripts. Eventually, they're going to see what they have in him. Chase Brown has not been efficient, per the numbers, per the tape, per everything else. Tahj Brooks might be a guy to stash right now. Record setter at Texas Tech, good vision, good power, just a little bit good at everything. Wan'Dale Robinson should be rostered, but I pulled him in here because he's on all the waiver wire articles. He's also Wan'Dale on the Giants, so people let him slip through the cracks a little bit longer than they should. But his average depth of target's up there compared to his previous seasons. Last year's ADOT was 4.4. Right now it's 12.6. He's getting elite work rate right now. 10 targets week 2, 8 week 1, 4 week 3. Running a lot of routes, 110 routes on the season, 32 or more every game. He's getting volume. Jaxson darts, YOLO. We do not know what that means. He only lives once when he throws the football. But Wan'Dale Robinson is getting work, getting opportunity. You know he's good for 5+ targets in every single matchup. Emari Demercado, the inverse to Trey Benson. If you can't afford Trey Benson, you're in a deeper league. You're looking for a new player that's ambiguous that could be stepping up the more work. This is your guy. This is a guy to pay attention to. Last year with Trey Benson, they were splitting the work damn near 50-50. He had some moments. He's good in the passing game. He's also explosive. I would not be surprised if he gets more work than realized. I would not be surprised. If you're looking for a sneaky contrarian pickup in your traditional league, and this isn't like at cost type of pickup because there's other running backs I like better as stashes, but you're looking for something for the now that could be sneaky this week, here you go. Here you go. He might get a few extra touches than realized, and he's very explosive in the open field. He's got good size to just athleticism. They've kept him along on this roster. They like him. This is a running back that could be very sneaky. CeeDee Lamb's banged up. Jalen Tolbert's going to see an increase of workload, increase of routes, targets. 42 routes ran in week 3 against the Bears. We do got the Packers coming up. Jets on the road. This team could be a mess. You may want to stay away. Deeper leagues, you may want Turpin as his workload's going to increase. He could be volatile with a few spike weeks this year. Romeo Doubs is always on the waiver wire. He's always getting a fair amount of targets in this passing offense. However, this is the carousel effect of the Packers. Any wide receiver on this team can get it on any given Sunday, but he's usually on every waiver wire video throughout the year. It was last year, so far this year. But the thing about him, he's going to give you a few boom weeks and a lot of so-so weeks throughout the year. Same thing with Dontavian Wicks. Has an ADOT of 14.1. He's getting deeper targets downfield. 26 routes ran in week 3 against the Browns. Now we got the Cowboys on the road. He's always there for a splash play. He's good for a gamble throw-in for lineups. Parker Washington seeing an increase in workload. Travis Hunter hasn't been hitting the spec. He hasn't been looking good. 11 targets last week, 5 the week prior. We got the Niners and Chiefs coming up. I would stay away, actually, the next couple weeks. And if he starts to fire more, then I'd go after him. 33 routes ran in week 3, 12 and 6 in weeks 2 and 1. So the volume and work rate's starting to increase for Parker Washington. Isaiah Bond's the sneaky play I want to talk about. He was open on a lot of his routes. Flacco just didn't see him. But the work rate has increased. 22 routes in week 3, 20 in week 2, 11 in week 1. 4 targets in week 3. He could have easily had 85 to 100 yards last week. That didn't happen. We're going to have changes at quarterback. Jerry Jeudy has been sucking. We could see him see a rise in volume, opportunities, and workload throughout the season, where early on, things could bust up very bad for the Browns at quarterback, though. As we see Gabriel come in, then Shepard, maybe even Watson. This Browns team is trying to figure it out on offense on the fly because they're very good at defense. But Isaiah Bond is a wide receiver to pay attention to, especially in those deeper leagues. But that's the waiver wire here for week 4. Let me know who you're picking up in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.